Ohayo. Welcome to the So Japanese Podcast, a podcast about all things Japan from a
Japanese.
foreign perspective. We are your hosts. My name is John.
My name is Ryusuke.
Thank you for joining us today.
Arigato.
Today's episode is yet another listener suggestion. So thank you, listener, for this suggestion.
Thank you.
And the topic is Shinto.
Shinto. Hi.
And then we'll have street level Japanese segment at the end, as well as another reminder in the beginning of the podcast as opposed to the end to please rate, review, subscribe, follow all our social media accounts. That would be much appreciated. And thank you for listening. So,
Arigato.
Shinto, it's less of a religion, I think. It's more of like a way of life. I think translated Shinto means the way of the gods.
Yep.
So a bit about the history. So Shinto is the oldest surviving and widely practiced Japanese quote-unquote religion. But unlike a lot of real religions, Shinto doesn't have a founder or any scripture or any need for some sort of ritual to become a believer. So there's no like baptism or anything like that. So yeah, there's no clear-cut founder or like an origin from where it was created. But they think it's just evolved out of many different cultural practices from ancient Japan. Since there's no like or limited historical records, it's mostly been passed down like through word of mouth. The early adaptations of Shinto beliefs are believed to have emerged from the period of Yayoi culture. And that's like 300 BC.
Yayoi jidai.
So pretty old. The earliest written record that describes Shinto is in a book called
Kojiki,
which is the record of ancient matters dating back to the year 712. So pretty ancient.
Really old.
Like many prehistoric societies, ancient Japanese people held animistic beliefs. So they believe that objects, places, creatures possess a spirit, which helps to understand the idea of the gods or kami that Shinto believes in. So Shinto, the main belief is the worship of kami, which are spirits that inhabit the natural world, from landscapes and forces of nature to people and animals, both living and dead. All objects are believed to have kami. So this table
should have kami.
This plant could have kami. This glass.
Everything. And the water.
Everywhere.
Yeah.
Which helps to kind of explain like the respect Japanese people have for everything.
Definitely. Yeah.
Right? They just think gods exist in everything. So you should respect, take care of it.
Exactly. Like
Clean.
you should taking care of every single object because everybody has life.
Right?
Yeah.
Like you yourself, you wouldn't say that you're like Shinto believer.
No.
Right? But I feel like you being Japanese, it's like just in you.
Yeah.
Like the beliefs are in you, even though you don't say I'm Shinto, or, right?
Yeah, like for example, like we were cook.
Yeah,
I have knife. My knife is, I would say, it's over like 10 years old. I'm still using, and I'm really taking care of those knives because like I believe that like they have their own life. Yeah, so like I need to taking care of them.
That's like so Japanese way of thinking, right? Like things have life. So yeah, that's the main idea.
Yep.
So the origin story of how these gods were created, or the Shinto belief system, is pretty out there. So I'm going to like read / kind of talk about this story. So in the beginning, when the universe was created, there was already a pre-existing number of kami, gods, which appeared spontaneously. They had relationships, and from all these gods having relationships, they gave rise to a set of brother and sister, which are like the main, I guess, not founders. I guess it's like Adam and Eve, maybe?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, Japanese version of Adam
and Eve, yeah. Their names were Izanagi and Izanami. So Izanagi means he who invites, and Izanami means she who invites. So they believe that Japan was the first land of the world, and how it came to be was Izanagi and Izanami thrusted a jeweled spear into the ocean. And where the spear touched the water is where the central island of Japan, I guess, sprung up.
Group.
Yeah, right. So they are the, I guess, mother and father of Japan. Izanagi and Izanami got married. I think there's like the Shinto way of getting married. They like walk around a pole or something. And they also discovered sexual intercourse.
Kind of weird story.
Because they're brother and sister,
Exactly.
right? So brother and sister / husband and wife.
Adam and Eve, were they were no family.
Actually, I don't know. They might be. Well,
Right.
they're the kids of God.
That's true.
Something
So
like that.
that means
I'm sorry, we're not religious.
Yeah.
We're not, especially Christian.
no.
But I think like Eve was created through Adam's rib,
Oh really?
like from one of his bones or something like that. Please correct us, listeners.
Yeah.
So I guess it's the same. Well, maybe worse because Eve is his daughter in a sense. Anyway, Izanagi, Izanami, brother and sister / husband, wife. So their first child, named Hiruko, was born deformed and later abandoned by his parents. So apparently this firstborn child had like no bones, no real structure to him. And apparently they just like put him on like a raft and threw him in the ocean. So I think Shinto also believes that you can abandon a child if they are deformed. But really the deformity is probably caused by the fact that they're brother and sister. But Shinto believes that the deformity was caused by Izanami, who she spoke in first in their sexual ritual. So I think originally they do believe that women are like sub men, which is kind of fucked up. But that child, Hiroko, actually, Hiruko, became Ibisu, which is the Japanese god of fishermen and luck, and also the name of that beer, right?
Exactly.
It's that guy with the big earlobes.
The earlobes, and then have the fishing
rod.
Yeah, with like fish.
So the couple had more sexual intercourse and had more offspring, and their offspring became the other islands of Japan and the other kami around them. So like mountains, trees, plants, any animals are all became kami from them. When Izanami gave birth to the kami of fire, she died because the kami of fire burned her in the birth. This is so weird, this story. They
really
must have been so high thinking about this. Like around the fire, ancient times, around the fire, telling stories. So this apparently is the first death in the world, Izanami's death. Izanagi was so furious with sorrow, he beheaded the child since he blamed the child for the wife's death. And in beheading the fire kami, the blood from the execution sprayed out and became the volcanoes of Japan. Since Izanagi was grief-stricken, he went in search of her in the underworld, which in Shinto is called Yomi, which is the land of the dead. So he found her in the land of the dead, but Izanami had eaten the fruit of the dead and was going to be doomed to stay in Yomi forever. Izanami then made Izanagi promise not to look at her, but to give her time to consult with the rulers of the underworld to see if they would let her return to the land of the living. After a while, Izanagi broke his promise and went to look for her. When he found her, he saw that her body was pretty much rotten and full of maggots. Izanagi was horrified and tried to return to the land of the living, but his wife/sister, angry and ashamed at being seen in such a state of decay, pursued him so she could force him to live with her in the underworld forever. Izanagi managed to escape and blocked the entrance to Yomi with a boulder so that Izanami could not follow him. So he kind of formed a permanent barrier between the worlds of the living and the dead. Izanami was furious and behind the boulder said that from every day from that moment, she would kill 100 people. Izanagi replied by saying that, okay, if you do that, he's going to now create 1,500 new babies every day. That's a lot of sex.
Yeah. And with food.
Yeah, right. With people he made, I suppose.
Okay.
Island life. So after escaping Yomi, Izanagi was contaminated by his contact with death. As a result, was plagued with misfortune. He bathed himself thoroughly in the ocean to wash away the pollution of death. This was the first example of harae, which is the purification ritual of Shintoism. During this purification ritual, a number of new kami included Amaterasu, the sun goddess, and her brother Susanoo, the kami of wind and storms, were created. So I think the idea is that he was washing away all the pollution, all the bad things, and the water that came off of him
and became another kami.
Yeah, a whole bunch of other kamis, but two of the main ones, Amaterasu and Susanoo.
Yeah.
So Izanagi gave Amaterasu authority to rule the land. Susanoo was disappointed and angry. His tantrums led to him to behave so badly that he was banished from Takamagahara, which is like the Shinto land of the gods, I guess heaven, I suppose. But things don't end in disaster for Susanoo, who remains an important and powerful kami. Although he has fearful powers of destruction, he is worshipped at many shrines for having the power to prevent disaster. Amaterasu was upset by the behavior of Susanoo and in a sulk hid herself in a cave. So when she hid herself, she also hid away the sun. So the world became dark and very unfortunate. So the other kami gathered outside the cave and asked Amaterasu to come out. She, still sulking, refused. The kami then had a party, which a female kami did a sexy dance outside the cave, which made all the kami laugh. Amaterasu came out of the cave to see what the happiness is about, and at that time, the other kami grabbed her and persuaded her to take her proper place in the cosmos. So I think Amaterasu is like the main god.
Yes.
I would yeah, right?
Yeah.
It's the main god.
Yeah.
And she was lured out by a sexy female kami dance. So weird.
It's so weird.
So weird.
Yeah.
This is legit too. We didn't make it up. It sounds like we made this up, but this is what they believe in.
Yep.
Okay, so next is like we'll try to explain the idea of kami.
Yeah.
So in Japan, they believe that there are millions and millions of kami. There's a phrase what they say is
it's called Yaoyorozu no kami,
which means
8 millions of kami.
So I don't think like they mean exactly 8 million.
No.
They just say like unlimited amount of
for sure.
kami because everything.
Yeah. Basically,
Everything
8 million
has
means
kami.
basically like everything.
Right?
Yeah.
So Shintoists believe that, well, they say that the concept of kami is hard to explain because human beings are simply incapable of forming a true understanding of the nature of kami. To make it easier to understand, I suppose it's like they're just often described as divine beings or spirits or gods. But the difference is kami are not like other gods in other religions. So, right, it's like...
It's not like one person or this character.
And they have all the power, right?
It's
so
not like that.
Ryusuke will try to explain that how kami are a bit different.
So, the first one, the kami are not divine and transcendent details found in many religions.
They're not transcendent deities found in many religions.
And kami are not omnipotent.
They're not omnipotent, so I guess they're not all powerful.
And also, kamis are not perfect. They sometimes make mistakes and behave badly, like with the story, right?
Exactly.
Izanami was kind of like, no, I'm gonna kill people. And kamis are inherently and different in kind from human beings or nature. They're just a higher manifestation of the life energy. It's like...
So humans can be kami.
Exactly.
It's not like they're... Humans can be kami.
Can be. Yeah. And also kami don't exist in a supernatural universe. They live in the same world as human beings like us and the world of nature. So like they're here.
Yeah, they're on Earth.
In the sea. They're in a mountain. They're maybe in this room.
Oh, every object in this room
right?
is a kami.
Yeah. And then kami are not immortal. They can be injured and can die. So they're no forever life.
Exactly.
And when kami die, they rot just like human beings. It's like
Izanami.
They're Izanami. And kami have feelings. They suffer from sadness like human beings. So
just like Izanagi, he was grieving, mad, killed their firstborn.
So I guess all this means kami doesn't have to be perfect.
Exactly.
Right?
They're like
kami
us.
also like us. Yeah.
So kami, I guess to explain it further is just that they're just in everything, right? They're in the elements of the landscape, like Ryusuke said, in the mountains, in the sea, in the lakes. They are also powerful forces of nature. So storms and earthquakes are also kami themselves, like hurricanes, tsunamis. Those are kamis. Human beings can also be kami after their deaths. So I guess that's the best way to think of it. Everything is kami.
Yeah.
Everything is a god.
Yeah. Or I think like, because they're all kami, so let's respect everything.
And because they feel and they kind of make mistakes just like humans, you treat them just like how you want to be treated, I suppose.
I think so.
Like, because they're not so powerful that they make no mistakes. You don't have to revere them like that, right? You should show them the same respect as I would show you.
Yeah.
So their idea of like the devil are called
yokai.
So when a kami dies and can't go into an object, so when they're responsible for bad things happening. And yokai are depicted as like ugly monsters, right?
Yeah, like oni.
Yeah.
Or what else? We also have like kappa. We have actually a lot of yokais too. But what I know about the yokai, it says yes, they're responsible for the bad things. But what I know about yokai is like yokai also could do something good.
Okay.
So I guess the meaning is even bad people, they do some good things too.
Okay, so that's the idea.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
And not all kami have personalized names. They can also be just referred to like as the kami of
paper,
or the kami of Nagoya, or the kami of Toronto. Like, not all kamis have names. So really, they are everywhere.
Yep.
All right, so next is the 5 main core values of Shinto. The first one is
purity.
So they believe that the idea of evil and pollution needs to be cleansed and are addressed through rituals of purification. This pollution or this evil in Japanese is called
kegare.
And you can easily purify it with water or salt.
Yep.
So pollution causes bad fortune. You use water or salt to wash that bad fortune away. And also maybe give a 5 yen coin or something like that. Right.
Well, that's why when we go funeral, when we come home, I remember sometimes my parents go funeral, we stay home. They told us to stay home. And then they always telling us, when we come home, please put the salt on our shoulder. So the salt purify from the death.
Okay.
Because they visiting funeral service, which is the death service. So what I know, I mean, what they told us was because sometimes they came with them, that person sometimes following them.
Okay.
So you have to salt to make sure this is not your place.
Or just to cleanse it away,
Exactly.
right? Wash it away.
Yep.
So we'll touch on death later because the relationship between Shinto, Buddhism, and death is kind of unique too. And also, I guess, for salt, the sumo wrestlers, they throw salt.
They throw,
Right? And water, before you enter a shrine, you have to wash your...
Also, I don't know if you noticed, like, in front of house entrance, the old people, they love to splash water in the morning.
Yes.
Or, like they do often. Or even like restaurants. Before they open, they splash the water in front of the entrance.
I thought they were just cleaning. But that's what it is,
exactly,
actually, right?
Exactly.
You're cleaning the bad vibes. You're cleaning the pollution, the kegare. So if you want to know how to cleanse yourself in a Shinto shrine. Listen to our
shrine and temple episode.
Yes. The next main core value is
Makoto.
Makoto that's a name too, right?
Yeah, that's a name.
Popular boy name.
Yeah.
Makoto refers to sincerity of the heart. So if goodness and sincerity are not in your heart, all acts are pointless. That's what they believe. The next is
wa, which is harmony with nature.
harmony with nature.
Yeah.
So since kami can possess anything, it is nature itself. As you can find kami everywhere, it is important to keep places clean and being aware of the environment. That's why like Japanese gardens are so beautiful. Like they're like clean, they're manicured, right?
Yep.
All of Japan is so clean, right? Maybe the people who invented Shinto are just like neat freaks. They're like OCD.
Maybe. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Gotta clean
It's like, it's really perfect.
It is.
So,
it is. Like it matches the Japanese aesthetic, right? Simple.
Yeah.
Like no clutter. Just have what you need, right? Anything else is extra and it's dirty. It's pollution, right? The next main core value is
Matsuri, which
Matsuri.
is festivals.
Festivals. So they believe in festivals.
Yep.
They believe in throwing these festivals, these parties, because it binds a community together and it brings good fortune.
That's why there's so many matsuris every single place.
Every single place,
No, even
every single
cities.
town,
Like more smaller, right?
right?
Like my area, we do matsuri every year.
Yeah.
And then the next area, they have their own matsuri. And then in Kansai, they have like big matsuri. I mean, not just Kansai, like seriously,
Everywhere,
like
just
everywhere.
Matsuri. So
Yeah.
each festival is dedicated to a particular kami, and they're seen as like the guest of honor. So these festivals tend to be very active events with processions, like big parades of like just walking around, bringing the kami everywhere. Dramatic performances, dancing, sumo wrestling, and feasts. So these processions often feature mikoshi.
Yeah,
That's that big thing.
exactly. People carry by themselves on shoulder.
Right. They're always like half naked.
Yeah, yeah.
And so they believe that that particular kami lives inside that thing. So a lot of like the special kami live inside like particular objects. So we'll touch on it later, but Amaterasu is believed to live inside a mirror.
Mirror.
So I guess if that mikoshi has a mirror inside, you're carrying Amaterasu.
Yeah.
And
Something
so they
like that.
something
Yeah.
like that. So they carry this kami or an image of the kami inside the mikoshi, and they transport it around like a parade through the local community to purify it and bless its future well-being. Aside from all these smaller matsuris, which because Japan is like a agricultural community, that's how it started.
Yeah.
Many of the festivals surround the farming seasons, right? So apart from that, there are two major annual festivals, and they are
お正月祭り。お正月。
so that's like the 3-day New Year,
Yeah. And then お盆。
which just passed recently.
Like summertime, the vacation. Yeah.
And that's like a Buddhist celebration.
Yeah.
Obon is of the dead returning
Exactly.
to the
'Cause
ancestral.
Obon is basically for the dead people can come home, spend time with us, and then we gonna taking care of them and then let them go again.
Okay.
Yeah.
So during these times, Japan's most popular shrines, Meiji, Ise, they will attract like millions of people. It's a crazy time. Do you guys go every New Year?
Yeah, every New Year I go the shrine close to my house. Yeah.
How about Obon?
Obon, we don't really do anything because Obon is, to me, nowadays is for like a vacation, for white collar people vacation time.
Okay.
So my parents own coffee shop and
So they always have to
never
work.
close. Yeah.
All
So-
right. The fifth core value
はい。
is to
Focus on here and now, present.
exactly. So Shinto is strictly focused on the present and it is a celebration of what we know and have right now.
This is very good mindset. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's literally just the Japanese mindset.
I think so.
Shintoism.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they focus on the present. They don't deal with the death. The death, they let Buddhism handle that. So it's kind of weird. So Shinto and Buddhism, they're intertwined. They're considered a syncretic religion. It's a fusion of both beliefs and practices, which is weird because Buddhism has a clear doctrine, origin, and beliefs. But Shinto doesn't, right? They don't know.
No.
But through the centuries of being together in Japan, they've intertwined, and it's okay to, it's not like Christianity and Muslim.
Because I don't think a lot of Japanese people actually know about this. What's difference between jinja and otera, shrine and temple? Because we thought it's same. It looks same.
Yeah.
But because of I started this podcast, and then we study a lot about Japan, and I noticed, oh yeah, it's actually makes sense. It's different. Yeah.
Even like Buddhist figures have become prominent kami. Again, everything can be kami. So again, Shinto and Buddhism are not religions. They're just ways of life, right? Ways of thinking. So why not? They can be together. So about the afterlife. Buddhism and Shinto have very different beliefs about afterlife. Buddhism believe in a cycle of death, rebirth, and it continues until a person achieves an enlightened state. Shinto, however, believes that after death, a person's kami passes on to another world and watches over their descendants. And also, it's like highly polluted, right? Highly kegare. So they don't want to deal with that death.
No. You're down.
So exactly. So they let the Buddhism deal with it. So a lot of like births and weddings are like celebrated with Shinto practices. But pretty much all funerals are Buddhist funerals. Like there's no such thing as Shinto funerals. They don't deal with it. Because they believe that death and decay are the most potent forms of impurity. They believe that death is so bad that it disrupts the harmony of the community. They believe that living spirits in the land of the dead are malicious and lonely. And they like to drag people from the land of the living to Yomi. And they also believe that humans should keep away from anything to do with death. So it's like how your parents were saying, right? They come back from the funeral, purify us because I don't want to bring death
to our place.
The overriding belief in Shinto is that to promote harmony and purity in all aspects of life. They believe that humans are thought of as fundamentally good and evil is caused by evil spirits. So the main ritual of Shintoism is to pray and offer to the kami to keep away these evil spirits. How do people in Japan worship kami? Where do they go?
Shrine. Yeah. And
Republic.
also public. Yeah.
Also at your home you can have like a shrine.
Yeah, it's called kamidana. Yeah.
And normally it's just like a shelf and you put like
shelf with like tiny version of like wooden made house.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then you can put like how to say like charm or those things with flowers or like the special plants. And sometimes people put sake. Yeah.
Incense, or is that Buddhist?
Incense, I think it's Buddhist.
Right.
Yeah.
So in a shrine, public, all shrines are public, no? There's no private shrines, are there?
I think
almost like the super rich have like
super rich or like super religion thing might be like you have to be like member or in religion.
You gotta donate a certain amount of money to
something like that. Yeah.
Pray to this kami. So there are about 80,000 Shinto priests in Japan, and also about 100,000 shrines. That's a hell of a lot of shrines.
すごい。
But I'm sure they're counting like the mini ones. Like not the house ones, but like the mini ones. What are those called again?
I forgot.
See, he's not Shinto.
ごめんね。
So Shinto priests and priestess are allowed to wed and have children as well. So it's nothing like
you can't
other
have
religions and
sex
stuff like
or
that. Nothing like that.
I think
So-
nothing is too strict.
No,
Yeah.
exactly. Well, they
Yeah.
believe that they're just like humans, right? They can make mistakes.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's a very easy way of life, easy way of thinking, I think. So most Japanese people identify as both Shinto and Buddhist. But like you said, I don't think many people know the
Even
difference
think,
really,
yeah.
right? They're just Japanese, pretty much. Shinto and Buddhism are so ingrained in everyday Japanese culture for centuries that many people observe them even if they don't identify as being religious at all, like you just said, right? Apparently 80% of Japanese people follow Shinto rituals.
For sure.
Would you say you living abroad away from Japan, do you follow any Shinto rituals?
Yeah. So like I said, like I keep all my goods, all my stuff surrounded by me. I always taking care of them.
When's the last time you purified yourself?
I guess last time I went to canoe trip when I jumped into the lake.
Did you think that though?
No.
Okay. Wow, I thought, okay.
No.
I'm sure there are Shinto shrines in Toronto.
I think so.
There has
Should
to be.
be.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
There has
But
to be.
I know there's a temple.
Yeah, there's like Japanese Buddhist temples
Yes.
here. Yeah.
But I actually don't know if there's a shrine.
We're at your house. Where's your Dana?
Kamidana? Right there.
It's this table, right? It's
Yeah.
this table.
Yeah.
Okay, so Amaterasu, she's like the main figure, I would say, right? Her full name is
Amaterasu Omikami.
Omikami, which translates to great divinity which illuminates heaven. She is the celestial sun goddess. So she's the most important Shinto deity. She is credited with inventing the cultivation of rice and wheat. So super important to Japan.
Super important.
Silkworms,
I guess back then it's really
right? And
important.
weaving with a loom. So rice, food, and clothing, all thanks to Amaterasu. The primary shrine to worship her is at the Grand Shrine of Ise.
はい。伊勢神宮
Ise Jingu
biggest and most powerful.
in Japan. Like I said before, she's manifested there in a mirror. But you can't actually see that
No.
mirror. No, it's
No,
like
you
inside
never-
that house.
I
right?
think once in a while they have like huge festival to bring the
mirror out? Oh, yeah? And the public can see it?
I know. So this Ise Jingu, 5 or 10 years cycle, they rebuilt the main shrine.
Okay.
So like that's the rule. I don't know. I forgot why.
Yeah.
But so they always have one empty room and then one Honden, which is the main shrine.
Okay.
And then 5 or 10 years later, they're gonna start build the new Honden
Okay.
and the empty space.
I
And then after
see.
10 years,
They go back.
I think because of the Amaterasu, there always should be new house to purify.
Interesting.
Because I know Otera, the temples, they've been there forever.
Yes. They don't change.
But shrines,
Yeah.
and the biggest shrine,
Yeah.
they built 5 or 10
Well, that
years.
makes sense. You gotta clean, right?
I think so, yeah.
And that's the same shrine where we talked about in the cannabis episode where they burn
Exactly.
marijuana
Yes.
to cleanse as well.
Yeah.
That's the best shrine. Where is that shrine again?
Mie Prefecture. Yeah. And then the second one is called Atsuta Jingu, and it's in Aichi.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is like, I think one of the weirdest parts of Shinto is the connection with the imperial family. So Shinto believes that Amaterasu had children and grandchildren. In consultation with other senior kami, she decided that Japan should be ruled forever by an imperial family. So she sent one grandchild, Ninigi, from heaven to rule Japan. Ninigi took with him a mirror, which is a symbol of Amaterasu, and a sword. His grandson,
Jimmu Tenno,
is regarded as the first emperor of Japan, from whom all the emperors right up to the present day today have been descended. So they believe the imperial family are direct descendants of Amaterasu, which is like the most powerful kami. But they also believe that we're all kami too.
Yes, but I guess because of the Amaterasu decide to you guys gonna control this country forever. That's why I think since the Jimmu Tenno, they never cut the blood, the DNA. So
they never mixed it.
They never mixed it. And then I know back then they actually had make a baby in the family.
Yeah. Well, they have to, right?
Yeah.
Were there a lot of like deformed babies and stuff?
That's what I heard.
For sure. There has to be.
Because it's too strong.
There has to be. Yeah.
But that's, now I know Izanami.
What do you mean they're too strong? Is that the idea?
I heard like if the family member,
if a brother and sister
had baby, the DNA is kind of too strong. So like your baby gets some
like deformities or abnormalities.
Yes.
Yeah. I've never heard of it as thinking of it like as the DNA is too strong. I think of it as like it's like against nature. Yeah. So it's like it's not natural. You're gonna fuck up your shit.
Yeah.
And well, like I think most royal families around the world,
it was like that.
Exactly.
Before.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's how they kept everything
in the family. Yeah.
Yeah.
So like the imperial family. So we're Canadian. We have the queen, the British queen, on all our money. So I guess we're aware of the royal family of England. How aware are Japanese people of the imperial family, the royal family? Like, do you know right now who is the king or the queen or the emperor?
Who is Tenno?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know the face.
Okay.
Yeah.
Females can't be.
Female can't be. But the thing is, the Tenno now, he has one daughter. And it was only one daughter.
Okay.
So the Kogo-sama, prince, queen.
Okay.
Kind of queen.
Yeah.
I think everybody was kind of talk shit about her. So she got mentally fucked up.
What do you mean?
Because
the emperor's wife?
Yes, because you're supposed to born
a son.
That's
so fucked up, man.
It was really big news and a big problem. She couldn't even come out to the public for a while.
That's so fucked up.
And the Tenno emperor has brother. He has 3 kids, and then the last kid was boy.
Okay.
So now it went to him. He's the next Tenno.
Okay.
Not like his cousin, which is she's the Tenno's daughter. But because of the law, the Tenno should be a male. So for now, in Japan, it's like he's the next.
Okay.
Yeah.
I feel like in England, with the Queen, it's like almost like tabloid news. It's like gossip news. Is it like that in Japan?
these days, yes, because of, again, like the brother of emperor, his second daughter, she wanted to marry with this regular guy.
That's right, yeah.
But the public found out his mother has some money issue with other people.
Okay.
And when the royal family get married, even if you're a woman, she got kicked out from the royal family forever because you became normal people.
Yes, you're going to marry a normal.
Exactly. Yeah. But she still get money from royal family, which is she get money from like Japanese tax from Japan, right? So that was the big news about like why we have to pay for them.
She's
because
not in
of
the royal
like
family anymore and stuff.
Well, and his mother gonna pay for her debt or whatever. So like they couldn't get married until recently, and then now she's like, I gonna marry, like and after like 3 years.
And is she gonna continue taking money from the royal family?
No, I think only once.
Okay. Right. Yeah. So the normal Japanese person, do you think they care about the emperor?
Like as a Japanese?
Yeah.
I don't think so. We don't like. We care. Yes, we know the Tenno.
Yeah.
We don't hate them. But Tenno is more just one of, how to say,
like a figurehead. Like they have no power, right?
No power. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we know Tenno is Tenno, and then we know this family is the longest royal family in the world. They have most high status than Queen Elizabeth. But that's it. That's only we know.
Okay.
Yeah. And we don't think the power is something. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right. That does it for our episode about Shinto. I hope it was informative. It's kind of hard to explain because like it's the ideas, the belief itself is kind of like really broad.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I find the origin story the most entertaining.
I think about Shinto, you should just go to shrine. If you have chance, you should go Isejingu, and you should feel it.
Yeah, get the
like,
vibe.
Exactly. When you go there, you kind of feel that, kind of spirituality, and like you feel like, oh, I guess like I need to cleanse my body.
And because it's not like a religion, I feel like if you're Christian, Muslim, any other religion, I think like there's no problem with going to
no
Shinto
problem.
shrine.
I mean, anybody could go.
Exactly.
Only people don't want to go because they believe other religion. Even those people can go. They don't judge anyone.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. So
it's just a good way of thinking, really. Yeah, respect everything.
Exactly. Why not?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, this brings us to street level Japanese.
Hi.
Again, if any new listeners out there, street level Japanese is a segment where we try to introduce more informal, colloquial slang to help you sound more fluent. Most of this segment, it's like not textbooky.
No.
It's more natural sounding.
Natural, yeah.
So today's street level Japanese segment is different ways to say you and I from formal to informal. So in Japanese, there's formal ways of saying things and there's informal ways of saying things. There's ways to say things at work to elders.
Yep.
And there's ways to say things on the street with friends, with family. It's different. It's seen as very rude or impolite to use informal Japanese in a formal setting. So the different ways to say you, starting from formal to informal.
Hi. So formal, anata, and kimi, and anta, and お前 and 貴様 and てめえ
Teme is the most rude.
Yeah, I think so.
Have you ever called someone teme?
Yeah, to my sister.
Okay.
When
So
we
like
fight.
family and stuff when you're fighting.
Yeah.
But like to say it to someone on the street that you don't know.
Rude. You're really rude. People are gonna look at you like, what's wrong with you?
Okay.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of the informal, very rude Japanese, because Japan is such a polite society and they care about what other people think of them.
Mm-hmm.
You only hear the super rude Japanese in like anime. Right? All right. Next is I. How to say I in Japanese from formal to informal.
はい。私 atashi female.
So atashi is used by females.
Boku for male and sometimes female. Ore male, sometimes female. 自分 and like your name, like my name. りゅうすけ、りゅうちゃんは
So in Japanese, it's mostly like referring to yourself like a third person as your own name is most informal, but only because it's mostly used by like kids, right?
Yep.
I remember teaching in Japan, like they would all call themselves by their own name.
Right? Yeah.
It's kind of cute because they're little kids.
Yeah, exactly.
It doesn't.
Yeah. It's cute.
All right. So that does it for today's episode.
Hi.
I hope you enjoyed it.
I hope so.
Very informative. Again, thank you, listener, for the suggestion.
ありがとうござい
If
ま
you
す。
guys have any more suggestions of what episodes we should do, topic wise or even like street level Japanese wise, any language questions, let us know in our DMs of any of the social media accounts that we have, or you can email us. But yeah, it doesn't have to be a long-winded message. Just hey, we want to hear about Shinto. That's it.
Yep.
So thank you for listening.
ありがとうございます。
Bye bye.
またね。バイバイ。